You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah.
Hey YouTube, Pixar Prime 10 here with a very exciting video review. Today, we're taking a look at the Transformers Toys R Us exclusive masterpiece Optimus Prime, the Hasbro version of MP10. Out of every single Transformer in my collection, this has got to be my favorite. I got this at Christmas time. I could not find it in Toys R Us, so I ordered it online for a little bit more money than it was in retail. And as you can see, it's not in the box. It's been several months since I got it. I just like the box. I can tell you what was where. Optimus Prime was right here in his robot mode. You had his trailer right here. Right here was his little Spike figure. Right here is his roller. His gun was right here. And his Energon axe was right there. You can see his trailer converts to a battle station. You can see that this is his vehicle mode. This is his trailer mode with his vehicle mode in it. And he obviously comes with a die-cast version of the Matrix of Leadership. He has an advanced transformation level of 3. If we flip this around the side, this is an enormous box. So obviously you can see the sides of my board. We can see, if I can zoom back a little bit, a gorgeous picture of G1 Optimus Prime. One of the most iconic cartoon characters of all time. You can see on the back here we have Optimus with his chest open, holding the Matrix, his trailer with him in his robot mode inside of it, and his vehicle mode with Spike inside of him, which is very cool. You can see right here that we see he has a trailer that converts to a battle station. Autobot roller is included. He has the Matrix of Leadership, which fits in his chest. A snap-on Energon axe, which is really just a slide-on. Spike with Wiki minifigure included. Ion cannon storage. And you can see a very long bio. For millions of years, noble Optimus Prime has led the Autobots in their war against the tyranny of Megatron and his evil Decepticons. His unwavering courage in the face of centuries of desperate battles is an inspiration to his comrades. He is an unstoppable warrior and a flawless leader, pushing ahead through the darkest times in the history of Cybertron, and remaining unbowed, unbroken, and always committed to victory. Very cool. You can see the figure right there with his axe. And if we flip it around, you can see, you can join them on Facebook, Transformers.com, and YouTube. But you guys got me for that. I pretty much just quoted Optimus. Nothing big on the bottom. You can see Transformers Collector Club. Flip it around on the other side. We got the same picture of Optimus. And I think you guys want me to get to the main event. Let me go get Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Alright guys, here we have the entire Masterpiece Optimus Prime Hasbro version, all of its pieces, everything right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each and everything this comes with in order from smallest to largest. But, well, I think first we will take a look at Spike. Now the little Spike figure is obviously Spike Witwicky from the original G1 cartoon, which is very cool. He has his classic brown hair, his classic white button-down shirt, blue jeans with his classic white boots. Now, he doesn't have a helmet, but that's okay. His articulation is his arms will move 360 degrees. Very small little guy. You can see he just about fits on my thumb. His legs are articulated at the hip, and they also bend at the knee. Now, one thing with my, it's his left leg, is if I can actually detach it, which I guess I can do with all of them, but I wouldn't want, why would you want to? I'll detach his leg, his bottom part of his leg, and if you can see that, there's, like, frayed rubber. Let me try to, like, get it out so you can see it. On it. I don't know, can you see that? You can kind of see it right there, where when you put his lower leg in, it doesn't lay flush. So this leg, yeah, you can totally see how it sticks out like that, and how it's not really attached right. So that does kind of bother me, but for such a small figure, I guess I can't really complain for how great it actually really does look in its entirety. Now, Spike was obviously the main human character of the G1 cartoon, and he can interact with a lot of this stuff. He will interact with Roller, and he can interact with Prime and the trailer. Now, so this is Roller. I'll give you a 360, and the spike, did I say roller? This is spike. The spike that came with the Takara version of this had a slightly different color. I believe it was like part of his clothes or his skin. So that is Spike. Now I guess I'll show you his gun. This is obviously Optimus Prime's ion cannon. Very, very iconic for Optimus Prime. The only difference between this and the car version was this little tab here was a darker gray to match the gray on the Optimus Prime. You can see there's a little silver detail right here. Very nice gun. Looks just like how it did in the G1 cartoon. I absolutely love this thing. This just screams nostalgia. Now, what this thing can do, this thing can actually fold up and store in the back of Optimus Prime. To fold it up, all you gotta do is take it and just fold this part back, and then you see the handle goes, it kind of automorphs. And then it kind of turns, it doesn't transform or anything, it turns into this little square, and then when you press this gray tab here on the back, it'll spring right back open, and that's how you store it in Prime's back. Now here's his Energon axe. Now, this obviously he only used in one episode of the G1 cartoon. He used it in, I believe, More Than Meets the Eye part, I think it was part 3, and it obviously, his right hand just goes in, comes right back out as an Energon axe. Now, one weird thing about this is this is the part that he just slips right over his fist. This will come out, and this part detaches for no reason at all. But I'm actually trying to remember which way this goes now. It does that. Very nice. I know there's a very nice repro label set for this guy. There's stickers for Prime, the trailer roller, and even the axe for like some wear detail. But this is very cool, slips right over his hand, and I don't believe the Takara one detached like this. Why you'd want to do this, I really don't know. I think maybe to play into a feature that Roller has. But we're going to sit that axe right there, and here is Roller. Now, I think in the G1 cartoon, I don't think he was blue. I think he was, in fact, silver. But the G1 toy for Optimus Prime had this blue, and the original... And in the cartoon, it was silver. So the Takara one comes with a silver roller, and this one comes with this blue roller. And on the camera, it looks a lot of a lighter blue than it actually is. It's a much darker blue than it really does look. Now, as you can see, he's got a little siren back here. He rolls, and is obviously very similar to the G1 roller. You can see if you take Spike, you can fit Spike inside Roller, and they can go on miscellaneous adventures together. Now, this part back here, you can see these two parts here where this is what plugged into the back of Roller in the G1 toy and shot him out. So that's a very nice touch. That doesn't do it on this trailer, but it's still very cool. What you can do is you can take this part and fold this back, and this part unfolds. And then you can see he's kind of hollow inside, so I guess if you really wanted to, you could store something in there, but you don't really need to. I love how when you flip this open, they didn't make it look like an ugly panel, they made it look like a gas can. That is like an absolute win. Now you can take Prime's gun, and you can just stick it right in there, and Roller can go around and blast some bad guys. Now what you can also do is you can open this, flip this section around, flip this back up, and now Roller has a hitch to haul Prime's trailer, which is kind of a play on the whole thing where does Optimus Prime's trailer goes when he transforms to robot mode? Well, now we have the question answered. Roller takes it. That's just pretty much a play. Now, what I said with the axe was, right, like I said, it detaches, and there's a hole right there. And I think that is for Prime's axe, because it kind of fits in there. Whether or not that's correct, I really don't know, but there's no other purpose for that hole being there. Unless I'm missing something. But, this is a very cool little nod. I love this little guy. Very cool part about the MP10 set. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything aside, because this is going to take up a lot of room. We're going to move everything over to the side. And we're going to take a look at Optimus Prime's trailer. This trailer is almost iconic as Optimus Prime is himself. You can see he has the big circle here, some vents, some bolt detail throughout it, an Autobot logo, iconic for being at the front of the trailer. One thing about this Autobot logo is I wish it was just a little farther up to match the G1 cartoon, but obviously that's okay. Now, when I actually saw a review of this, I thought it was just painted on, but when I got it in hand, I was actually able to make out that it is, in fact, molded onto here, as well as this stripe is. So that is extremely nice. You can see that he has the blue line going up with the white. Very iconic. And it is exactly the same on the opposite side. On the bottom here, you can see very nice detail. Very nice. You have a tire right here. You have rubber wheels. You have the little trailer hitch for prime and roller to hold the trailer. And you have arms here that can swing up and down for just normal standing. And then these arms here, kind of very similar to the G1 toy for when it opens up. Yes, it opens up if you didn't know that. So very nice undercarriage. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the trailer. And as you can see, actually, very nice taillights. This is just so cool. So cool. Alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to open this up, and you can barely see inside of this. As you can see, inside here, you really can't see anything. And one thing that's also very cool is right here, you have a little ramp that you can pull down, and you can take your buddy roller, stick them on inside there, and you can just push them towards the back. And I'm going to put the ramp up first, and close up his trailer. Now, that is obviously not all to this trailer. We're going to take these arms here, we're going to open them up. One thing that's very cool is if you see these little peg posts right here, one rests above the Autobot logo, one rests below it, so it doesn't get scratched. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up his trailer. Now what I usually do to open it is I open up the two doors, and I unpeg it. And the first time you get this, it's actually pretty tough to open. It's like almost glued shut. And here we have the inside of Optimus Prime's trailer. Now, I'm going to stand this up by just taking these and flatten them out to show you the amazing detail in here. As you can see, now, Repro Labels, like I said, makes a set. And if you get it, you can put stickers throughout this thing to make it match the G1 trailer. You can see, like, little lines here, just detailing of mechanics everywhere. And then you have a little seat for Spike to sit in, another one there. And obviously the little, like, robot gizmo that was obviously in the G1 trailer. So that is a very, very nice touch. Now I'm going to lay this back on the ground. Just getting a little bit of a higher view here. With the trailer, you obviously have the little robot gizmo that was in the original G1 trailer. Now, one of the weird things is, it has, like, holes for missiles here, just like the G1 did. But, the weird thing is, it doesn't come with missiles. Now, what you can do is, there's a little robot arm, obviously, like G1, and you can move it around. It's on a, for the articulation, it's on, back here, it's on a joint. It can swivel here. It's on two, technically, elbow joints right here. And this claw can swivel up and down and open up to grab your little mini-cons, I guess, that try to ambush the trailer. This is also can be used to fix up Prime. And then a little satellite here, which you can just turn. And then a little cockpit, which you can open up. Take Spike. Sit him down. And this is where, usually, if I have to put this away, where I store Spike. You can put him in there and close that up. And you can't really see, you can kind of see him. And Spike can stay in here and man the trailer and such. Now, one very cool thing about this trailer is if you remember, the G1 trailer had a hole in the top of it so that you could have this thing like out of the trailer while it was closed. Now this thing, what I love is there's two little panels here, one right here and one on the opposite. Ooh, excuse me, one on the opposite side. Now if you close those, bring this forward, or I should say open those, you can close it and have that inside, which is incredibly, incredibly cool how they included that. And I love that you can close those panels so that when you close it, there's not a big gaping hole there. That is a wonderful, wonderful touch. I'm going to close this back up here. Now, obviously, I'm not really going to put him in there, but there's a seat there for Spike, and another one right here. This one kind of looks like a race car, where he can sit and operate some stuff. There's a way to store the gun and axe inside of the trailer. What you gotta do with the gun is you gotta take it and make sure the trigger's facing this way, and just stick it down in this hole right here, put it inside, push it in, if I could actually get it, and push it down into there. And then with the axe, you gotta take, I believe it's, you gotta make sure, take it like this, and then plug the axe on top, and then push it down inside of there. And then you can store the axe and the gun inside the trailer, which is very, very cool. Now, like I said, you can have Roller haul the trailer. All you gotta do, flip that piece around, take the trailer, flip up the legs, and take these two little pegs and line them up on the sides of that little groove, and then Roller can haul Optimus Prime's trailer around. Now, granted, it's very back heavy on him, so when you let him go, he kind of springs up. But that is still a very cool accessory. This has got to be my favorite Transformers toy. This thing is absolutely amazing, and we haven't even gotten to the big guy yet. Now, speaking of the big guy, here is the MP10 Optimus Prime Hasbro version. In his vehicle mode, the semi-truck he was in G1, he looks 100% show accurate. This is... It blows me away. It is... There's times when people get so pissed off at Hasbro, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Why'd you do this? You cannot get mad at anything about this toy. You really can't, man. Well, you can see his crotch, but whatever. You can see he has all 6 rubber tires. You can see he's got little gas tanks and his long smokestacks. Now you can see he only has the Autobot logo on one shoulder, but the Repro label set will give you an Autobot logo for that shoulder. You can see the grille and the bumper, the headlights. Flip it under here. You can see the actual matrix of leadership tucked away in his chest. You can see the back here. His feet form the back, but that's okay because, you know, it kind of looked that way on the G1 toy and the G1 cartoon. Very cool. Rolls very nicely. You can see he actually has mirrors where they actually fold in for the robot mode, and Repro Labels makes a sticker that goes on there and makes it look actually reflective. Now you can see there's a hole right here. Like I said, you can store Optimus's gun in his back in his robot mode, and you can transform him with the gun still in there. Now when you do that, that will actually fill up that hole, which is actually pretty cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to attach the trailer. It's really not that hard. You can see there's 2 little pegs here, or peg holes I should say. And then on the hitch here, there's 2 little pegs. Swivel that forward. And ladies and gentlemen, this might just be the coolest look I have ever seen. One bad thing about this is you can take it, he'll haul it straight, and you can turn, and then just about right here, that's it. This is his only turning radius. So that kind of sucks. I wish it would go a little bit wider when you, I think what it's hitting against, yeah, it's this big lump right here from his crotch plate, that when it turns, it's hitting that. Now, it doesn't peg in, but it stays in there fairly well. All you gotta do, well, it actually does, like, it stays in there pretty well. As you can see, all you gotta do is just give it a little bit stronger of a tug. I'm gonna take these back out and put this to the side. And that is how you store Prime, or have Prime haul his trailer. You can open up the windows here, aka his chest. Take Spike, stick him on in there, and you can see there are actual fitted seats. Oops, there are fitted seats for Spike, and you can see his head right there. And you can have Spike ride around inside your G1 Optimus Prime. Now, I think it's Impossible Toys who makes an actual Spike and spark plug, which, it's a little more detailed than these guys. And you can have, like, one sit there, and I like to have Spike in this one, because it's kind of obnoxious to sit in Optimus Prime's driver's seat while he's driving, right? Very cool vehicle mode. Very iconic. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to get to the transformation. What you want to do first is take these little gas cans and unpeg them from the side like so. And then you want to take this whole section. And then it kind of takes a little bit of tugging on each leg. All you got to do is pull it out. And then fold out his feet and heel spur. And then actually on the back here, what you want to do is take this little panel, take that all the way around. It's kind of giving me trouble. Oy. Take that all the way around and just peg it in like that to kind of cover his tires. And then take this gas can down and cover it like so. Make sure his feet are out. Take this section from the inside of his thigh and fold it around to peg into his leg, creating his, well, leg. And then you want to do the same exact stuff on the other side. Okay. Peg that in. Whoop. Peg that in. take this little gas can. I think that's right. I thought I did something wrong for a minute. Then you want to take this and fold this down, and then, well, we have the legs of Optimus Prime completed. And if you really wanted to, you can call this his Gerwalk mode. But whatever. Take this section, unpeg it. Same, obviously, on the other side. Take these headlights and kind of just tug on them until they come out. And then take this section and very slightly pull it out. Take these smokestacks and pull them up. And you can see the little section disappear right here. It'll go bloop, bloop. And then after you do that, you can take these arms. It's a little complicated to maneuver all this stuff, but take these arms and come out. Classic move. Take these little panels right here on his arms and just fold that up. Do the same on his other arm, his right arm. That'll go up and kind of just keep these out to the side. Now what you want to do is, I guess at this point you can open up his chest. Make sure these side view mirrors are flipped in. Open up his chest, take his glorious G1 head and flip that out. And then you can go ahead and take this section here, flip this up, and then it doesn't really peg in, but you want to take this little bumper section as well as this black section and fold that down and clip that in, cover up his matrix. Okay, and then what you can do is you can take this section and rotate it. Well, this part's kind of tricky because you got to get his arm out of the way and then rotate this around. Okay. And then, well, this is going to be tricky. If you can see right in there, there's a section that's tabbed into his chrome grill. Take that and just take that out and kind of accordion this all upwards. This is kind of where things get a little messy and tricky. Take this section, take this up, put it in there, and take this section and bring it up to his back. And then you can take these little bumper and headlight section and just fold that in. And you can do the same on his other side. Now what you can do is you can take this section down, and there's a tab right here, and there's a hole on the inside of this chrome grill. Just push that down and push it in to peg it in. You can take his windows at this point, and these can be closed up now. Get his head straightened out, and then take his waist, rotate it to the other side, revealing that, and kind of straighten out his legs. Now for the arms, you just want to take this section, pull it down, reveal a forearm, or I don't know if that's his forearm. I'm not good with body parts. Push that in, and it's your choice whether or not you want to leave these extended. I don't like those joints, so I don't. Take these, rotate these around, and I gotta get everything straightened out here. Rotate this around, rotate these down, straighten out his head. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the leader of the Autobots himself, Optimus Prime, baby. This figure, if you can't tell right now, is absolutely amazing. Everything, there is, not only does he barely have any kibble, he just looks great. Great, he got the classic chest, the crotch, the arms, the arrows on his arms, the classic Autobot logo, which sometimes he had one in the cartoon, sometimes he had two. Very strange. You can see his legs look fan-friggin-tastic. Flip him around the back here, you can see he looks great from even the back. And what I love is this back section. He has that in the show. That is fantastic. Now, right now, I guess I'll cover his articulation. For his articulation, his head is not on the ball joint, which might bother some people, but I like this joint. It goes up and down like this, and then it can also swivel. And then with the way his transformers transformation goes, this little panel here can move. So almost pretty much a ball joint on the head, actually. His shoulders will swivel up and down, and they will go in and out, but you have to extend that joint and make him go up and down, like in and out, like that. He has a cut on his forearm, so you can bend his arm there. You can bend his elbow, and for his hands, the wrist will swivel, and then I'll explain with my hand. These 3 fingers are connected and move like this, and then this one finger moves like this, and then is also articulated at this joint. If you can see that, you can see that. So, classic fist pose. And for his waist, obviously, will spin. I'm not that big of a fan of waist spins, though. I think he pretty much has a ball joint here at the leg. It goes in and out, forward and back. It looks like he has a thigh cut right here, but he does not. I mean, this swivels, so you don't need it. But it's weird that it looks like it. His knee will swivel, his knee will bend, and his feet have a pivot that will go like that, and his toes will move like that and go forward, the whole foot, as well as his heel spur will bend. So you can get this guy in some really amazing looking poses. Weapon number 1, we have his ion blaster. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but he has 2 little pegs on each side, and if you take his hand and open it up, you can see there's a little peg hole right there, or tab. You can take that, get that inside, and kind of just push, and don't close his fist all the way, because it'll knock it out, and very gently close his hand around it, and kind of keep one finger out to make it look like he's pulling the trigger. And here we have Optimus Prime is with his gun. I used to actually know a pretty cool pose to get him into. There's one. Just even looking at this guy with a gun is so amazing looking. Just take that out of his hand. You can take this, fold it up, come to Prime, open that up, take his gun, and I believe it's this way. Yep, you just push that in right there, fold it up, and then you can see the little piece sticking out. I like it in his back and when he's in vehicle mode because it kind of holds the back together a little bit more. So you can transform him with that inside, and I think I'll do that for the transformation, just so you guys can see that you actually can do it. Now for his Energon axe, if I remember correctly, this little cut right here goes over the thumb, so we're going to spin this around. And I never really like putting it on his hand because it goes on, and it doesn't even cover his whole hand, which kind of bothers me, but it looks okay. And as long as you kind of don't look at it like at a certain angle, kind of squeaky. You can't really tell his hand is visible. But that right there is just pure awesomeness. That is so cool. Now to pull it off, what I usually do is I remove that part and very gently, not pull hard, but just gently tug. Take his little Energon ball, that's what I'm going to call this thing. This is actually, maybe it detaches so you can pretend this is a mace. I don't know. But we're going to take this, and we're going to attach this part right back on there, and that's that. So that's his Energon axe, and this guy just looks so amazing in his robot mode. And one piece of articulation I actually missed was up here on his head. These little fins here on the side of his head, his little antennae, are in fact articulated. Why in the world you'd want to articulate those, I don't know. Now, one thing I love about this version versus the Takara version is those beautiful blue Optimus Prime eyes. Let me get my little flashlight out here. Those beautiful blue G1 eyes. Now, the Takara version had not black, but eyes that looked clear and looked like there would be a piece of light piping back here for a light pipe, so that when you shone light in it, light would come through and it looked like his eyes would be glowing. Maybe that would have been cool, but there was no light pipe. They weren't clear. They were just straight up. He looked dead. He looked empty. And honestly, the color, the blue and the gray on here for his thighs was darker. And I really do not like the colors, the darker colors for that figure. I think this one, well, it's weird because this one's cartoon accurate. and matches the cartoon, but this roller matches the toy, and the Takara version of Prime matches the toy. So very strange. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to take his chest, kind of got to lift it up and then pull. Take it open, and then I thought he had 2 doors that led, like, not minusing these, I thought he had this one, and then open that up, and then this section that covered the Matrix in the movie. I thought this was completely accurate, but he doesn't actually have the silver piece in the movie. This opens up, and then boom, it's the black part. But what you gotta do is you gotta open this up, and then you can see the Matrix chamber in there, which just looks so cool. Now, I actually just cut my nails, so this is gonna be pretty tough for me to get. Oh, no, it wasn't. So you just take that, you open that piece up, and then right there, let me get my flashlight back out, is the Matrix of Leadership. Wow. Wow, does that look great. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push on one side to get it out, and then just kind of tug on that side, and then just, oh, geez, just keep pushing until it actually just kind of falls out. I don't even know what, here it is. Here's the Matrix right here. I'm going to take my flashlight, and I'm going to put a light up to this. You can see how much that actually can glow. That is a plastic piece of blue crystal, I guess, in there. And you can see the handles here. You can see the molded finger holes, but they don't actually have finger holes. This Matrix is actually pretty small compared to other ones that we have, like the one that came with the MPO one that could actually open. But this is just very cool, very shiny. On the other side, the crystal's a little bit of a smaller opening than this side, but this is still very cool. And I don't think I don't have the picture anymore. You can actually get this I guess I'll do something. You can take his hand, and I actually took pictures of him with dying on a table with G1 Perceptor at his side, and you can. We should get a Masterpiece Perceptor. It kind of fits very snugly in his hand. I just say snugly. And you can take this out, and look at the Matrix chamber. That is just beautiful, purely beautiful. And you can still close it without it. And you don't need to have it in there to transform it, but I think I just leave it in there so I don't lose it or damage it. But very nice. And we're going to take it, and we're going to stick it right back inside there. Close this up. Close this up. Push that together. And here we have Optimus Prime again. Now, for the trailer. Now, if I were to stick this back here, what lots of people do is when they display him, which I don't do this, but maybe I should, to save room on my shelf, you can take this and you can push, well, this part needs to be up. You can take Prime, and then you can open up his chest wheel, and you can take this little part and pretend that this thing is operating on Prime. You can also do that in his vehicle mode, but I'm not going to bother showing it. You just open up the windows and have the claw go inside there, and then have this little radar thing right here, the satellite, kind of scan him. Then you can just take this, take Prime. Now, for a bit, I guess, of size comparison, we're going to take Prime. Here's another Masterpiece figure, being Thundercracker, my only other Masterpiece figure. And Prime is about a head or so taller, which makes sense because Prime should be taller than an average Seeker. Very actually nice mold. Love this figure. Would love to have the Starscream version. I wish they'd make a Skywarp version with this mold. And, well, yeah, that's how Prime scales with my only other Masterpiece figure. And for something that a lot more people probably have, here is the Beast Hunters Voyager class Optimus Prime. And he's a lot shorter. Obviously, he's a Voyager. This is a Masterpiece figure. And, well, I guess I'll tell you now, this dark blue here that you see on him, this is the dark blue that the Takara version of Masterpiece 10 had. So, yeah, there's Voyager Prime. And there you go for your size comparisons. They can have a nice chatting conversation. Right now, what we shall do is transform him back into his, vehicle mode. What you want to do is take his arms, push them up, okay, and then you want to take these sections here, fold them down, and then take his arms, flip them around, put his hands back inside here. Very cool, because you know his hands came out of there in the show. I love how you don't have to actually attach his hands, but that's something that would only be on a G1 figure. Now for his legs, What you want to do first is do everything you did, but in reverse at the very beginning of the transformation to robot mode. Flip that panel around, take this gas tank, push that up, and for this part of his leg, take this panel and fold it around. And fold that. On the back, you got to slide his legs back up, but you don't want to do it until you take this little button right here, this gray button, push that in, and his legs have to be completely straight, which I think they are, and then they won't slide up unless you push that button, and they have to be straight. So push that button up, and then I actually didn't do this on this side. You got to push this up and fold this around. And then you don't really need to tab it in yet. If you're so inclined, you can. And the only, by the way, the only die-cast part in him are his feet right here. And actually, these are kind of translucent for, like, taillights. Very cool. And there's a die-cast section in the middle of him that we can't see until we get him transformed. Take this arm, fold him back, and at this point, you can swivel his chest around. Open up his chest, and take this grill section, kind of just pull until that untabs. And the die-cast section I was talking about is, you can see it's kind of scratched. This one little bar right here, which it's like right here, that's it, which totally makes sense because this is supporting this whole middle, this whole top section, and his bottom section. So that completely makes sense that that would be die-cast. Now, as you can see, this is scratched up here because it has to fit into this little hole down in here in the chrome, so you can go ahead and do that right now and just peg that in. So we're going to fold those in. Now, I hope I'm not scratching them up. What you want to do is kind of bring his arms forward as much as you can and kind of keep his chest closed. I almost said clothed. Of course his chest needs to be clothed. Take this section, kind of got to get it past his arm, fold it down. Take this section, fold it down. Take these sections, fold these out, flip these around, and then take his arms, swivel these back. Sorry if I wasn't on camera just then. Take his chest, fold it back. Okay. And then take this section, you got to open up both sections of the matrix chamber. Okay. And that will come down, and you can, at this point, you can take his head and fold it back down inside. And go ahead, close that up. Kind of all coming together now. Take his arm, and this part's kind of tricky. As you can see on the back here, there's a tab right here, and there's a hole. You're not going to be able to see this, are you? Right, see that little black rectangle, like right where my pointer finger is at the tip? Right there. That peg needs to go into there. So we'll take this panel down and fold that down. Make sure you do that when you start the transformation, because that will be a pain in the neck if you forget to do that. Kind of just push it in, and like I said with that tab, get it back plugged in there. You're going to notice resistance when trying to transform him or get his arms in, and if you don't know what tab I'm talking about right now, when you actually transform him, you'll get it. As you can see, there's a tab right there that's going to disappear when I push it in. That just disappeared. I really hope you were able to see that. Now fold the tab, that section down on this side. Okay, get his arms in. Because you take these sections, you bring them up, and then you use this section to tab it in to here, tab it in to right here, and then tab in the headlights. That holds everything together. Take his legs at this point and take his feet, and they kind of just slide into the middle here and tab together. You gotta peg it in though. And then take these little gas cans. There's a tab on them right there and the little hole. Tab it in. And put his smokestacks down. Mirrors. I'm forgetting everything. And as you can see, what I meant by the gun is there was that gap there, and now that gun actually fills that in. So very, very nice. Here we have Masterpiece Optimus Prime back in his vehicle mode. Now, this figure is absolutely amazing. If you guys can swing the jack and get him for a reasonable price, I highly, highly recommend picking it up. It's definitely not in Toys R Us anymore. If you can find a Toys R Us that still has them, I'll consider you magical. But it was a Toys R Us Masterpiece exclusive. That's really all I can say, guys. I'm sorry how long this review was, but thank you. If you are watching this, leave me a comment saying I stuck around till the end, and yeah, just say I stuck around till the end. That way I know you are a true fan of mine and you were able to stick to the end and say this. But now you're probably just like, end the friggin' video. So, alright guys, thanks you for watching the review of the Transformers Toys R Us exclusive Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Have a great day.